This is a little excerpt from the book launch of With Footfalls of Shadow on the genre of fantasy. Please feel free to comment.
It's about one or two really cool ideas, basically. And you take those ideas, and then you develop real characters around them, and you try to make the way that they deal with these situations and deal with these cool ideas and make it authentic, make it real. The big idea in Footfalls comes from an old astronomy teacher of mine who posed some questions I couldn't answer, and probably no one can. Maybe you've heard this one. He just said that there's no way you can prove or know whether the way you perceive the color green is the way I perceive the color green. And I thought that was a really interesting concept that stuck with me for many years, and I developed it further to the point where I recognized, kind of tragically but also liberatingly, that there's no such thing as true creativity. Everything that we imagine is only derivative from things we already know. And I thought that was kind of disappointing, that there's no real creativity. But the salvation in that is that another thing that I learned in high school is between the numbers of 0 and 1, there's an infinity. It's confined between 0 and 1. It's easy to show you 1/2, 1/4, 1/3, 1/5, 1/6, etc. onto infinity. It just proves that there's an infinity between those two numbers. So that's what imagination is to me. It is limited by what we've experienced, but it's boxed in by those experiences. But there's an infinity inside that box. I'm actually looking at naming the sequel to this one, A Box of Infinity. So there's your sneak preview. But that's what the interesting idea is. The cool idea, I think, that I tried to infuse in this book, which is, and it's about Remus and his eyes of black that can see the fabric of the face. It's about imagining a sense that we don't have, other than sight, hearing, taste, smell, touch. How else can something perceive the world? Like the first chapter is actually it's set in a classroom, and to explain this world and the creatures that are in it, to introduce it to the reader, actually, strategy of making it in a classroom. But the teacher asked the class, how does a bat perceive the world through echolocation? What is that like? How does an insect perceive the world with their antenna? How does a bee see the world through multifaceted eyes? It's a way that we can't even imagine. We can only derive from our own experiences and extrapolate and try to fill in the blanks with little incomplete pieces of knowledge. But beyond that, what other senses are possible that we haven't even thought of besides echolocation and multifaceted eyes and antenna? So that's what Remus's senses are all about. And that's the big idea that I try to explore that runs through the whole book. So that to me is what fantasy is all about. It's a way to explore big ideas in the form of a story. And it's also a way to have a good time. And that's what I tried to do with Footfalls. So I hope you enjoy reading it as much as I enjoyed writing it. Thank you very much.